This next recipe is from my latest book, The Weeknight Cookbook. I love it because it brings 3 delicious ingredients together. Salty and lightly smoked speck, along with creamy, mild gorgonzola cheese and crunchy walnuts. Just delicious. First up, the speck. Now the speck we need to cut into small little pieces. So I'll take the rind off it, but leaving some of the fat because that's where so much of the flavour is when it comes to speck. Great, we'll get rid of that, we don't need that. And now I'm just going to cut it into small lardons. Now lardons are just small pieces of speck that almost look like matchsticks. I want to make them quite small because I just want little speckles of saltiness that's going to come from the speck. Now we'll just turn it on its side and then cut it into those little matchsticks that I was talking about. Okay, now that that's all chopped up, I'm going to place it into a pan on a medium heat. You don't want it to be too hot because we do need some of that fat to render away. So we're going to slowly bring up the heat, and just to give the speck a helping hand, a little extra virgin olive oil. Great. Now while that's sizzling away, we can get on with our pasta. It's all about fast cooking with this pasta. So some rapidly boiling water, and I'll add a generous pinch of salt. Now today I'm going to be using some penne pasta. In my book I use casarecce. You can use any style of short pasta for this recipe. So in with about half of this packet, and we'll give it a quick stir just so they don't stick. Now this pasta is going to take about 7 to 8 minutes. I want it to be al dente because it's going to continue cooking as I add it to the pan with the speck and that gorgonzola. Look at this speck, nice and crispy. So now we're going to take it out of the pan, and I'll just drain it on some paper toweling. And I want to turn the heat off for a moment because it is quite hot at this stage, and we're going to add our blue cheese. Now this is Gorgonzola, it's an Italian style of blue cheese, and it's Gorgonzola dolce, not picante. So picante is quite strong and it's a mature blue cheese. The dolce is really mild and creamy. So I'm going to cut this into small bits, and we'll just place it into the pan along with some milk, and the milk is going to ensure that it doesn't split or curdle. So a bit of milk. You can see the pan's still very hot, and you'll see it just slowly start to melt into that milk, forming a thick, delicious blue cheese sauce. Now we've got a perfectly thick sauce. All of that cheese has melted into the milk. So we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to add half of this speck to the sauce, turn the heat off, and I'll add the pasta that is perfectly cooked al dente. It's okay if some of the water goes in here. It will help thicken up the sauce. And one last spoonful. Great. And before I start to toss this together, I love the addition of the walnuts. So we'll just pop them onto the board. I have toasted them earlier, and then just run your knife through it a few times. So we've got small bits and large bits, and then I'm going to add majority of them, just leaving a few behind for the garnish. We'll add them to the pasta, along with a handful of Parmesan cheese. And now we do the toss, coating all of that in that yummy blue cheese sauce. That's why penne is a fantastic pasta to use here, because it'll go into all those little holes, give us extra sauce with every mouthful. Okay, to plate up, let's add a nice generous amount of this pasta. Fabulous. You see those little pieces of speck there. And finally, we'll add the rest of those walnuts and a small sprinkle of Parmesan cheese. What a simple pasta to do, but it has loads of flavour with the speck and the blue cheese. I'm going to dig in straight away without hesitation. so delicious.